Howdy YouTube fans, this is Tycondrius doing another action figure review, and today we're having a look at the Joytoy 1/18 scale Primaris Ultramarines Primaris Captain in Gravis Armour. So we'll take a quick look at the box. You can see he's clearly denoted for 15 plus, and it shows an image of the figure. Now I'm not sure if this is a digitally edited image of the figure or a photo of the figure. It looks more like it's a digitally rendered image of this figure. Or at least it has some touch-ups in Photoshop. It's possible they took the figure and then added extra stuff to it, especially the lightning anyway on the power sword. And if we just flip around, you see the name of the figure, the 40k logo, additional images and contents. So it contains one 16cm collector action figure and accessories, and then it's repeated in, I think that's French. And then you have images of the figure from the front, side and back, and doing various poses. Now inside the box there is a plastic tray that houses everything, and it's a two-piece tray, so you'll have to cut a small bit of tape to get the cover off, and then you can pop the figure out. One other thing is, I got my figure, when I got mine, it came with a little baggie inside, and it contained the base that he's standing on. So he does come with a base. He's actually the first figure I've gotten from this line that has a base. The Primaris Liberian and the regular troops didn't come with bases. This is the first one that comes with a base. It's interesting enough, it doesn't look really like it's designed from the 40k universe. It looks like they grabbed the base from one of their other lines and just stuck it in, because it has the same size peg, or peg for the peg, peg for the hole in the feet. So it is possible to just repurpose another base. Now it doesn't seem to connect onto other things, and it has a Bloomage Joytoy logo on the back. It doesn't give a date stamp or anything like that, or when it was produced. The other thing that he came packaged into it is this, which is a bolt rifle, which is interesting because nowhere on the packaging does it indicate that he's supposed to come with a bolt rifle. He also comes with a trigger finger hand for the bolt rifle, and I think it's just an additional extra. What's also interesting is that the bolt rifle is similar in design to the one that came with the Blood Angels Death Company intercessors, as opposed to the actual Ultramarine ones. The Ultramarines have a black casing, whereas the Blood Angels ones came with red. He does come with a little collector card, and if I flip it around, you can see his name is Captain Voltian, and he has a read up or write up in, I believe, Chinese, and I cannot read it. So if someone out there can read this, then you might be able to translate it. And then the other accessories he comes with is his power sword. If I can just get it out of his hand. His very nicely detailed power sword, which comes with a skull motif. You can see the power cabling for the power nodules. It has a goldish trim with a bit of highlighting to it and red handle, so it is quite nice, and has this very nice steel blade with kind of airbrushing on it to make it look kind of weathered and worn, which is quite nice. And he comes with a helmeted version of his head. Now the one thing, I probably won't be able to do it on screen because I haven't managed to be able to do it yet, is to swap out the head. I've been able to pop the head out of the socket because it's very recessed into the box, or into the section where it's held. The one thing that's kind of annoying is that it actually sits really far back. I didn't realize how far back. In images it doesn't look as far back. I thought it would be a bit more further up, but it actually sits a good bit further back than I thought it was on the figure. And when I did pop it out, it came with the peg, as opposed to leaving the peg for putting the alternate head on. So I probably won't swap out the head. Now, first things first, out of the bat, I will say that the head on this one has been slightly modified already. I just gave it a wash of Agrats, not Agrats Earth Shade, Reichland Flesh Shade, which is the GW flesh tone skin color, just to give it a bit more pop. But it is, the base skin tone hasn't been touched up or anything like that. I have seen people go to town customizing it, so if you're wondering why it looks a little bit glossy, it's just for whatever reason it dried glossy on them instead of matte. He has some nice detailing on the head. He has these laurels that go around the head. He has the studs to denote service. I think it's two. One stud is to denote every, is it 100 years or 10 years? I can never remember which way it is. I think it's, they denote how long he's been in service. So he has double studs, so he's at least, I think, 200 years, I would imagine. I could be wrong, it could be 20 years, it could be 200. I'm not entirely sure. The one thing I'm not a big fan of on these guys is the bellies look really big on them. I know you can kind of slightly move the chest armor down a bit, but I find that the belly armor looks kind of chunky. Now, what QC issues I've had with this guy out of the box is this piece was separate in the box. It came off. It's not supposed to be. It was supposed to be glued in place. This whole collar piece, now you can kind of see it happening on this, is actually not glued in place. It's supposed to be glued in place as far as I know. I don't think it's supposed to be separate for you to take the head on and off. I believe it's supposed to be one part, because I could see glue in the areas where it's supposed to be glued on. And when I was moving this around, I did manage to pop off this icon, relic icon on the chest area as well. So just be wary, there is some QC issues with these going forward. So he's really nicely detailed. You can see he has gold trim on the side of his cape. His cape is actually two-tone, so he has white on the inside, red on the outside. I would imagine the red is the plastic that it's cast in and the white is painted, because you can see it's kind of, the red kind of sort of bleeds through a small bit. He has the eagle or a Aquila kind of motive on one shoulder pad, and then he has the Ultramarine faction symbol on the other. His arms do move up. They are on a ratchet, so they will move up and down. You can get 360, but these shoulder pads will get in the way. They are on a kind of ball joint, so they are designed to kind of move out of the way, but they will get in the way. His left hand has a power fist / bolt pistol combination. Now, I'm not too au fait with how the Gravis Armour works in-game, and how all my miniatures predate pretty much 8th and 9th edition, so it's all before this stuff became pretty much the standard for all Space Marines. So the intercessors are all kind of new to me. This is one of the kind of intercessor, or was it the hubris era guys. Is he hubris? I think it's hubris. I think it's they go through a transformation where it makes them bigger than a regular Space Marine. So these guys have all the same articulation as the smaller counterparts. They are hindered in some areas. His right arm is not too hindered as much as the left because of that big gauntlet, and the gauntlet is attached with this magazine. It is a gummy or plastic stuff, so just be wary of that. It plugs into the backpack. It doesn't seem to be separate, so it doesn't come out. These, just like on the other Space Marines, are movable. As I said, that neck piece, I will have to probably either try and glue it down again, or maybe just use it to pop the head off and swap out heads. He does have upper waist swivel. He does have a lower waist swivel, but it is hindered very much so by this chain piece going across. It was trying to move this chain piece above the armor plate is what I managed to pop this off with. I think this whole armor section is supposed to be underneath the chain on the waist, but for whatever reason, it tends to like sitting at top of it. So I might be able to do it. The chain is kind of more gummy, but this piece is a lot more sturdy. So I think it's supposed to sit underneath it, because if you look at the images on the box, the armor plating actually goes under the chain as opposed to above the chain. So just be wary of that, getting it out of the box. You may have to heat it up, pop it apart, put it back together with this chain piece underneath. He does have dual jointed knees. He does have thigh swivel, which is kind of blocked by these shoulder or thigh pads. On the other guys, I think they don't have it, so this is kind of an extra piece. He does have these big massive boots. He does have toe articulation with rocker ankles, and he does have a boot articulation, and he does have 2 peg holes on both his feet. He is quite nicely painted. He does have a lot of paint apps compared to that of the, if I can just grab him out without everything knocking over, the McFarlane stuff. These guys have a lot more paint application. You are paying a lot more for these as well, so there is a premium price to be paid for. You're getting more bang for your buck. And then just to show them in conjunction with some of the other Marines. Now, I haven't done, I think these are either the Incursors or the Infiltrators, can remember which, but I haven't done reviews for him. And then this is the standard Sergeant from the 1st Ultramarines as Intercessor Squad, the Tactical Squad. There are a few more coming out. There's a bike coming out. There's a lot of stuff coming out. So you can see him in scale with those. Just move down my camera a bit. And then for some Xenos style threats, because there isn't really any Xenos figures out there yet, I have a Joytoy's dog alien, which will probably not stand, so I'll just have to manipulate him to stand against the captain here. So you can just a height reference. And sort out of the way. Bring in, this is the Joytoy's AVP, or not AVP, the Jungle Hunter, Unmasked Jungle Hunter. So you can see that they are pretty tall to a standard 1/18 scale figure. And then if you want something a bit more, maybe a bit more in scale, or not in scale, but a bit more bang for your buck, I'll just bring in the old Kenner. I'll just have to move her in and move stuff out of the way. The old Kenner Alien Queen. So this is the old Kenner Alien Queen. You can see it's fairly big, so it does kind of stack pretty nicely with these figures. And if you want something massive, and you could probably repaint it maybe and get away with it using it as some sort of greater demon, this is the Clayface figure from McFarlane. Now, I'm just going to move things out of the way quickly. I still have yet to do a review for this guy. So if you want to get this guy, go to town customizing the crap out of him, and he does look like a big pile of walking crap, you could use this as some sort of greater demon, or chaos demon, or chaos spawn or something, and you'd probably get away using that with this guy. Scale wise, it probably kind of roughly works. I wouldn't say it's 100%, but it does roughly work. So overall, he's a really cool figure. Now, I got this guy from Big Bad Toy Store. You can get him from various places. I think Locker Stores may, or Locker Toys may still have him. I know some places are sold out of him, so it's a hit and miss of where you can get him. I think he's still available at the moment on Big Bad Toy Store, so if you do want to go the route of getting him from there, you can. The only thing is he's probably a little bit more expensive than getting him direct from one of the Chinese e-tailers, but overall, he's a really cool figure, so I do recommend getting him. He does have QC issues, so be wary of that. I've seen people complaining across the line of QC issues, not just with him, but on various Marine figures. So it's not exclusively, you know, just him has the QC issues. So just beware that the line can be a bit hit and miss with QC issues. So, but overall, I do enjoy the line. Everything I've gotten so far, I haven't had too much issue with. This is the only guy that I've had quite a bit of issue with, especially with this neck piece, because it's all one big chunk, where the cloak, the backpack, and this neck collar piece are all one piece. So I think it's putting a lot of pressure on him. On the neck area, the sprites probably popped off, and the glue was probably not great on it. It didn't look like it was a great amount of glue put onto him. So overall, he's not bad. Do recommend him, and as I say in my videos, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.